Hi everybody, it's KnifeFighter22 here. I hope you guys are all well. Just playing some live speeches here. It's been a while since I've done this on my channel, so here we go. Okay, so we're going for the Italian opening against someone rated 1122 from Poland. Yep, Poland. Okay, so now we've gone for a queen. Okay, so let's just play knight c3 now. So just simple development, d3. And now we're both probably going to castle, but he's gone for a fly deliver, so let's castle now. And then if he takes, then rook takes. Okay, here we go. So we've traded off our rook for two minor pieces, which is an interesting trade. I mean, it's done quite a lot in these types of games, but now our king is quite exposed, so let's just move him back to g1. Really, the pace, I'm going to have to pick it up a bit, because I really don't like this pace. It's so fast. Okay, it really is, and I don't have much time to talk at all. Okay, so coming into the middle game, everything looks alright. Everything looks okay. Let's just put our bishop out onto g5. That looks strong. That looks okay. And now attacking his queen, and his queen looks quite limited, actually. I don't know how he's going to defend that knight, actually. I think we might have won that knight, unless he obviously takes the bishop, which would be quite dubious. But as you can see, we're both almost down to the 2-minute mark, so it does get quite risky after a while. Okay, if we play here, he can play bishop h3, but that's okay because our queen is protecting the g1 square now. So now basically we can move our queen back to h4, and basically now after the bishop doesn't come to h3, but now okay, so he's traded it off. That's okay because we're up pieces here. He's got to guard the f7 square with his queen as well, but there's no way we can attack it. He's going to play d5 with a tempo. Let's just put our rook onto the f1 square and further attack that now, which will be interesting. But he's played his rook onto f1, so let's just play the bishop onto e7 and attack that rook now, making this very interesting. Okay, so rook e8, then bishop takes f7 check. If the king goes to h8, we can obviously take his queen, so that's impossible to do. Pawn takes. He's just delaying it. He's just delaying the checkmate, because after pawn takes, then his bishop can come back to do that. So if we take here, if he takes here, he's played the bishop back to h8 now. So let's just retreat that bishop now, and then if he ever plays a pawn down to d4, then we can take on c6, but now that's a mistake. Look at f7. Look at f7. That's horrible. But now, after, no, it's a skewer. It's a skewer. Both the pieces are forked. There's no way he can... Okay, so now if we take here, then queen takes here. Yep, we can do that. And now we're up quite a lot of material. Also, okay. Let's think about this. I feel as though we could have played that bit better. I don't feel as though that was very good, as we could have like won his rook and all sorts. But now let's just go in for some kind of checkmate chances. I want to trade off this this rook, just like this, which forces a trade, I think. And then in the end game, you know, we can have a pretty comfortable finish, if I'm honest. Let's just get rid of some of these pawns somehow. So for example, we play our bishop to d6, getting rid of the pawn on e5, just like that. And now he's sort of going on a suicide run. Not suicide run, but he really is pushing to get all his pawns to the end. But unfortunately for him, it won't work, just because we are up too many powers. And now I've got this passed pawn, so it's really not going to work. And he resigns! Okay, so that was a pretty good game. I hope you guys enjoyed the speed chess, which we did. I think it was an Italian opening. And then we actually had this really interesting sacrifice. Basically what this was is, he went down for a fried liver setup, pressure on f2. I could have played my bishop into e3, which would have made me lose a pawn. But instead I castled, giving up my rook and pawn for these two minor pieces, which I think is a beneficial sacrifice because I'm very good with my knights and bishops, and I'd probably say I'm a lot better with them than my rooks, if I'm honest. He castled, bishop e3, simple development, trying to get my rook out of the game. Okay, king g1, and then he brought his knight back to e7. Basically, his knight would have been better over there, but now I play my queen into e2. Obviously, I just want to get the rook across to f1. d6, so again, just getting the bishop out. But now bishop g5 is an interesting move, because this queen can't come to e6 to defend the knight, so he drops the knight there. And of course, he can't play bishop h3 in this position because the queen is watching over g2. So that's okay. He plays his rook to e8, and I can just swing the bishop back to h4. And now he plays his bishop down to g4, but I'm happy to trade that off. And it gives us a nice attack. c6, so he's planning to play d5, and after rook f1, rook f8, bishop e7. I think we did make a mistake here. After this, I don't know if bishop takes rook was better, so bishop takes rook, king takes rook, and bishop back. I mean, we're down a bit of material, but we don't have as strong an attack, so that's why I take on d5 instead. And then after we move the rook across, I can then swing that bishop back. And I really think that even though we didn't gain that extra point of material, which we could have done trading the bishop for the rook instead of winning the pawn, I do think that we do have an advantage after this position by quite considerably. Obviously, we're up the 2 minor pieces for the rook. And he plays king h8, not the strongest of moves. Obviously, he's got a watch over f7. I think queen to f6 would have been better, trying to trade off, even though he loses a pawn when he does that. Then after queen f6, queen takes, h takes, rook takes, then he can just move the defender, plays rook up or something, and then defend his pawn so there's no longer a fork there. But instead, the whole idea with moving his king off was just so he didn't have to benefit from that check, but there's still a nasty fork, which leads to the queen trade, and obviously because he takes with his rook, he drops the rook, and I only drop the bishop. So from there, I win out 2 minor pieces, and unfortunately for him, he didn't see this rook f8 move, which then allows us to just trade off all the pieces quite merrily, and once we have a passed pawn, it's all over. Okay, so thanks very much for watching, everybody. That was my live speed chess. I wish you good luck playing chess, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye, everyone.